How did it start? So, what are we in 2019?
Yes.
So, the end of 2017 going into 2018, I was first diagnosed with fibroids. But it was told, oh, they're really, really small. It's about 2 or 3. They're really small. Don't worry about it. Because we were going through trying to have a baby. So we're just trying to make sure all our boxes were crossed and, we were healthy and we were able to. And I was experiencing some weight gain. So I kept going back and forth with weight gain. And that's when they first diagnosed me with thyroid, that I had a thyroid issue.
Correct.
So it was underactive thyroid. So they put me on some medicine, and I was kind of didn't like the way it made me feel. I felt like it put more weight on me than anything. So we started, I talked to you about some holistic, Tanya Lee, my cousin, by the way, about going a holistic route and what I can do to kind of get off that. And it worked. More vegetables, fresh fruits, keeping a lot of sugars and carbs out. And then I was diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And one doctor said, no, you don't have it. And then I had to switch insurances. This is how it all ended up. I was going to another doctor because I started a different job. And when I was able to go back to a new job and get my old insurance, I was able to go see my primary care, whose name is Dr. Alan Perry. He's amazing. That's a plug for him, yes. He's with Piedmont Associates. He's amazing. And he was like, no, you check off 9 of the 10 boxes. Only thing I didn't get was the initial hair growth women get under their chin or chest with PCOS, which is what the short term is, PCOS. But that was because my estrogen level was so high. So it just ended up being a host of different things and trying to treat 4 or 5 different things, and then those 4 or 5 things being treated, and then 6 and 7 new things popping up with it. So it's trying to maintain that. And he suggested keto. Remember I talked to you about keto. He suggested the keto diet. He felt that would help, and it did. The weight was coming off. And then about, what was my birthday? Around my birthday, so about April of this year, my stomach was just growing and growing. And at first I was like, oh, it's weight gain. But my husband was like, no, you're not gaining weight anywhere else. It's your stomach forming. And my stomach would move. Like literally push, like one side would go in and the other side would come out like they were moving. At that time, I didn't know what it was. And I kept making excuses. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to go to the doctor. So finally, he was like, no, you need to go. And I saw my primary care again, and he didn't like when he started to feel my abdomen. He was like, no, this feels like a mass. So he sends me to a specialist. The first specialist I saw was Dr. Noor, who's also with Piedmont Associates. When I saw him and he touched my stomach, he was like, this wasn't here last year. This is a mass. Sent me down to have an ultrasound. So they do what they call topical ultrasound, which is when they just look at your belly, and then they do an ultrasound vaginally, which is when they go in. And she was literally like, when she went in vaginally, she's like, I can't see anything. I can't, the fibroids. She was like, your fibroids are so huge, it's covering your whole, I can't see it. She took the pictures. I went back upstairs. They did a biopsy of my uterus. At that point, I hadn't had the results back, of course, because that was the same day. But he just was like, your fibroids are huge. I'm going to recommend you see this oncologist. So, now I'm like, an oncologist. So he was like, don't get nervous. We don't know if it's cancer yet. But because the mass is so big, he would have more knowledge in removing such a big mass. He automatically, Dr. Noor said he wasn't touching it. It was just too big for him. He's never operated on such a big, so he wasn't going to do it.
Did he recommend anything?
He recommended the oncologist.
Okay.
That was it. At this point, I'd asked him, I said, okay, so if I see this oncologist for removal, what would be the ways for removal? And he was like, hysterectomy. So I'm like, just hysterectomy? And he was like, hysterectomy. So I'm like, no, I'm not taking that. So now I have faith in this oncologist because you're telling me he deals with more mass, so he clearly can get this out. With going to see doctors and getting in on a calendar, it could take weeks. It could take sometimes months for others. I think I got in with him. It was about a month, but my results had already come back for my biopsy, saying that it was not cancer.